Not only are the killer clowns becoming an emotional distress for all of us experiencing the killer clown phenomenon, but we are also understanding that now the killer clowns are becoming more physical as they are wanting to attack you. TGW over the past few hours compiled a couple of different stories that actually suggest that the killer clowns are now ready to strike against you. In fact, we have very, very weird footage that shows a killer clown in the middle of the street, literally waving at a person inside a car and was ready to attack before the car fled the scene. This is really becoming a very, very unsettling experience as we are getting set for what's to come on October 31st of 2022. The Killer Clown Purge is expected to happen on that evening. Let's take you to the footage right now. So you just saw that. You saw the footage of a killer clown standing in the middle of the street, literally looking at the driver, waving at the driver, and was running towards the driver. Thankfully, the driver was able to escape, and the killer clown, from what we understand, was never ever discovered again. But these killer clowns all over the nation, really all over the world, are gonna be doing what they can to frighten you, and they're all gonna contact each other. They're all gonna be in groups by the 31st of October, and they're looking to purge the streets. So this is really becoming very concerning, and we do have some stories that we found online. TGW was able to assemble a couple of different stories. We compiled a few so we can share it with you guys, that the killer clowns are obviously looking to target you, they're looking to attack you, and definitely purge by the 31st of October. In this first story we found online, it said, quote, "It was the middle of the night, and I was driving home from my friend's house as we celebrated her birthday. It was such a good time, but was super exhausted, and I was looking forward to going home. I never would have thought my night was going to end the way it did. While driving down the road, all of a sudden, I see a mysterious person. This person was just standing there. He was very stoic, and was just standing still. I was getting goosebumps just by the sight of him standing still in the middle of the night and in the middle of the road. The more and more I got closer, the more and more I noticed how the person had a very creepy looking clown mask he was wearing. That's when I immediately got scared and was frightened. I didn't know what to do and started panicking while having my car motionless. I didn't want to run the guy over just in case if this guy was pulling a prank on me. But I also didn't want to get closer just in case he had some sort of weapon that he can use against me. I didn't know what to do. I called my friend, but no answer. I called her again, but no answer. I'm sure she was wasted after the party we attended. To my left were a bunch of trees, and to my right there were a bunch of trees as well. I definitely didn't want to drive off the road in case something goes wrong and I'll get stuck in some ditch in the trees. I decided to roll the window down and yell out, "Hey, can you please get out of the way?" He didn't say anything. In fact, he just stood there, standing there, looking right at me. I seriously was getting a bad feeling about this, and I knew that at that point, something was wrong. Something was terribly wrong. Then, all of a sudden, the clown man started waving at me. I really was getting creeped at this point and was contemplating to just floor it. I still had a feeling that he was just pranking me, so I didn't really want to run the guy over. And all of a sudden, he starts running towards me. I was so scared that I couldn't even move, but I knew how to drive in reverse. I started driving in reverse, and he still was sprinting towards me. He then moved to the left side of my car and started hitting my window. It was at that moment I floored it and drove off faster than the speed of light. While driving off, I looked back and saw the man still looking. He waved again, as if he was saying goodbye. And I was driving and driving more. Suddenly, I saw in the back, he creepily walked back into the forest, never to be seen again. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this is getting serious now. People all over the world are, of course, sharing their stories all over the nation and all over the world, their experience with the killer clowns. Here's the second story. This happened just a few days ago at the local park. I was jogging, doing my usual Sunday routine. There's this path that I take that has a bridge over this beautiful pond with many trees surrounding it. Every time I jog along the pathway, I sense calmness and peacefulness. Sadly, not anymore. While jogging along the bridge, I heard someone in the distance saying, "I need help." Now, I'll be the first to admit the voice didn't sound pleasant at all. It sounded so deep and raspy, and if I'm being honest, the voice gave me chills. But I assumed that someone maybe out there was in danger. Maybe there was someone out there that needed medical attention or aid, and I'm no doctor, but all it takes for me is to call 911 and get him into an ambulance to save his life. So I kept hearing the voice say, "Help me," over and over. I leaped over the bridge and into the ground. I saw the pond and wondered if someone was maybe near it, but nothing. So I kept following the voice, and all of a sudden I see this man in a clown mask hiding behind the large tree. His head peeked out, then hid behind the tree. He started saying, "Help me," again, in that very creepy voice. I knew that I made a mistake. I should have just kept jogging. But I followed the voice, and it landed me here. I literally said mentally, "This is it. I'm gonna get attacked by this man, or worse. I'm gonna be killed." I was slowly walking back, and I shouted, "I can't help you, I'm sorry." The creepy part was, he said, "I know. Nobody can help me. I want help, but I'm locked into this cage. I can't escape the voices that are screaming in my mind. The only way to help myself is to make the voices happy. The voices in my head need help." After he said that, he peeked out of the tree and started sprinting at me. Thankfully, I'm a runner, and I sprinted as fast as I could. I leaped up back on top of the bridge and turned around. I see the killer clown below telling me, quote, "All of us need help. People have left us behind. We need to come together and attack." He creepily laughed afterwards, and it got me really, really weird, and I started running away. When I reached out of the path, I called the cops. The cops told me they're going to be there shortly, and when they arrived, I showed them exactly where the confrontation happened. They searched around the area, but found no person in a clown mask. It was very creepy knowing that there's someone out there asking for help, but not asking himself to be helped, but for his voices to get help, whatever that ever meant. This is the final story, but is anybody else getting goosebumps over this? I mean, again, we found this all online, and people are sharing their experiences all over Reddit and all over Instagram. Of course, you can dig online and find the experiences yourself, but this is the final story we found. I have to share this for sure. This is as creepy as it gets. One afternoon, I was playing outside with my brother. We were playing and just enjoying our Labor Day weekend. When we were playing outside, we saw some guy in a weird red costume with a white face. We don't know what he was doing in the distance, but we found it very creepy, although we continued playing. Minutes later, that clown was closer to us. We stopped and said, "Time for us to go." All of a sudden, he starts to run towards us, and we started running out of there. We were running as fast as we could, and sadly, my brother tripped. The clown ran up to him and looked only at him. He was staring at him, standing and towering over my little brother. He reached down to grab his shirt, but thankfully, my brother slipped away, and we ran and ran. We ran until we noticed we weren't being chased anymore. It was extremely scary, and it was something me and my brother will never forget. We heard about the killer clowns and how they're rising up around the world so they can start a purge, apparently. If that's the case, then that means we literally were confronted by a killer clown. This is very unsettling how our world has people like this out there. And those are the stories that we did compile and there is really nothing else we can say here other than the fact that we have to prepare for what's to come on the 31st of October. October 31st, 2022, that is the expected and intended purge. All the killer clowns all over the world are looking to group up and rise up together as a team, apparently, and take down the, quote, globe that harmed them. The killer clowns have been saying that humans were the ones that left them behind, and apparently we are responsible for everything they're doing right now. That everything that they're doing now, the purge, the attacks, and the messages, are because for the past couple of decades, everyone has been ridiculing them. Everyone has been attacking the killer clowns, and now they're looking to rise up and deliver this almighty revenge. Judgment Day is indeed upon us, unless we do something about this. I've been saying this in every single video, and I'm going to continue to say it every single video. There's only one way, at least for now, for us to try to stop the killer clowns, and that is to make sure that we share the information. That is to make sure that we share everything about these videos, because if we stay silent, chances are they're going to have the upper advantage. But we have to do everything in our own power to make sure we share these videos all over social media for other people out there to understand this. Even if they think it's fake, have them be aware of this, because we don't know what's going to happen. We have no idea what's going to happen on the 31st of October, and of course, the 31st of October is next month. We are drawing near and near, and with the stories now rising up on the internet stating how killer clowns are out there attacking people, we don't want to take any chances. So make sure you share the video, make sure you stay prepared, and make sure you understand how to stay safe. If you haven't done it yet, make sure to watch the Gaming Weekly video that we uploaded just a few days ago that state how to survive the killer clown purge. There are some interesting tips you might want to follow. That way you can, of course, stay away and avoid the killer clown scare and survive the killer clown purge. There's really nothing left for us to say at this moment. We have a lot more coming up over the next few days. More killer clown content here in the Gaming Weekly. Of course, the #1 source to get all your killer clown news and information. The Gaming Weekly is wanting everyone to be safe. Everyone is wanting to... I should say everyone here, part of the Gaming Weekly, is wanting to, well, of course, allow you guys to have an incredible October and not let these killer clowns really get the last laugh. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us here, part of the Gaming Weekly. Again, the #1 source for the killer clowns. We will see you next time in the TGW channel. And remember, folks, make sure to do everything you can to stay safe, because the killer clowns are out there. Thanks for joining us.